What is the chances of a girl who's from South Africa
and a guy who's from Savannah, Georgia,
can
meet each other, you know,
and then 2 years later get married?
Hey guys, welcome to the Greg and Leanne Show, and today we're talking about how we met. May 2017, I was on my way to a YWAM conference in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I stopped at a stop sign, and I looked over to my right, and I saw Leanne standing on the side of the road.
May 2017, I was doing my DTAs. And the reason why I was on the side of the road, because we were on our way to a conference
The same conference.
that he was playing drums at.
Yeah.
Greg wasn't in YWAM, he was just playing drums, you know, cool kid. Our van broke down, one of our vans, and so we were just chilling on the side of the road at an abandoned gas station.
So that was a Sunday. We were driving up to the conference, and so that Monday was the first day of the conference. And so I saw Leanne there that Monday, and so I was like, oh, that's the girl that I saw on the side of the road. And the first thing I thought when I saw her on the side of the road is, I was like, oh, she definitely wears bands. She looks like someone who wears bands, listens to heavy metal, and just looks like a really cool girl. But like, the words that went through my mind is when I saw her, I was like, hey girl. And then I saw her at the conference, and I was like, oh, that's the girl. The conference was like a whole week long, and so that whole first day, we didn't meet or talk or anything. We didn't have our first interaction until that Tuesday.
He was, you know, at a distance, and I saw him, he had cornrows, he had long hair at this time.
Yeah, only cornrows on the side.
Yeah, only cornrows on the
Like,
side,
like,
just to let you know. And I looked at him and I was like, dang, that guy is either an ex-drug addict or he's still struggling with drugs.
I grabbed my lunch, and this was on a Tuesday, and I sat at a table by myself so that people could join my table and like we could all talk to each other so it wasn't weird. And so like people who wanted to sit by me could sit by me. And so my friend Adrian came and sat next to me, and then it was just us two at the table, and then like a whole group of girls came and sat at our table, and Leanne was in that group. And the first thing she ever said to me,
I like your hair.
I like your hair.
Because his hair looks sick, you know, I love long hair, it looks freaking sick.
So first I noticed he had an accent.
Yeah.
So
it's
I was
obvious,
like,
yeah.
well, hey, where are you from?
Yeah.
And then you told me you're from South Africa. But then I asked you if you knew someone, and you pretended like you did.
Yeah, because
South
people would always ask me, if they think if you're South African, they're like, oh, then you must know every single South African.
Yeah, and then, and then so we were like talking to everybody kind of, and like, oh, you know, like, hey, my name's so-and-so, oh, how old are you, kind of thing. And then Leanne just turned around and walked away. She just got up, and I was like, oh, that girl's leaving.
The first time I saw you, like, with your cornrows, I thought you were kind of prideful, I have to admit. I didn't know what your vibe was, I didn't really know what you were really doing there, you went in YWAM. But I didn't want to give you too much attention, because you were giving me a little bit of attention.
But we just met. I was like...
By staring at me from a distance.
No, it wasn't.
But look, okay, so the reason I got up is just because, well, first, I didn't want to give you too much attention.
Okay.
And second, I saw someone that I knew, so I was like, oh, I should go say hi to that person.
And third, you thought I was cocky. You thought I was super prideful. You wanted to bring me down to earth.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to humble you a little bit.
Alright, so that was our first interaction.
Yeah, super great.
Yeah, and then so the next day, I saw Leanne again, and then I lied to her and told her my name was Leonidas.
And you talked in an Australian accent, bro. I was
And
like, how did I miss this?
I used to be able to like fake an Australian accent like really good for Americans. Like Americans would be like, oh, whoa, you're from Australia. But like an actual Australian would be like, you sound like an idiot.
You sound British, bro.
But I couldn't remember your name.
Really?
And so I was like,
oh yeah, because you
I was like,
said...
what is your name again? And you're like, Leanne. I was like, it's not Leanne, huh? And you're like, no, it's just Leanne. And then you're like, what's your name again? And I was like, Leonidas. And you're like, oh, it's kind of like your name, like Leonidas, Leanne. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good way to remember it. It's like my name. Yeah. Wednesday, we wake up in the morning, have breakfast at like 6 a.m. It was super freaking early. It was really early. And actually, that's not early. That's normal for me because I wake up early.
No, it's like in the middle of the night.
It was a really good conference. Like during this whole week, like I'm meeting like amazing people that are my age that really love God, like actually legitimately love God, and I'm just really getting encountered by the Lord like all through this week, like totally getting wrecked by God. So it was like this is probably the most memorable week of my life I've ever had, ever. So we all sit at this table, and so my idea was I was like, okay, like I want to get Leanne social media, and everyone like this whole week, everyone's like already adding each other and stuff, and like adding people that you meet, and so like it's like normal, and so I was like, I'm gonna ask for everyone's social media so that I can get Leanne's social media, and so I was at this table with like probably like 10 people, and I was like, hey, so what's your guys like social media? And it was like straight crickets, like dead, like no one responded.
Anything, really.
No one said anything. It was just silence. And then Leanne's like, social media is of the devil. And I was like, yeah, okay, she's totally joking. And I was like, no, seriously, like
Oh my God.
what's y'all social media? And she's like, social media is of the devil.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe it's like against her religion or something. I don't know.
First of all, I didn't say it like that.
Okay, and how'd you say it?
I just said, I looked you straight in the eyes and I was like, social media is of the devil.
I don't know. It was a little more extreme than that.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm not a dramatic person.
Okay.
You know me.
And then me and Leanne broke into a staring contest.
Bro, but what's crazy?
After a fake laugh. And then I won.
Yeah, but what's crazy is I would do this all the time to people. I thought it was the funniest thing, just staring at people and being like...
Yeah, but no, you have to explain. Like, when someone says something and you laugh, and you're like, ha.
Oh, yeah. And then you just stare at them.
Yeah, and then they laugh first.
Yeah.
And so it makes you have like a false sense of alphaness,
Yeah, but that's not what I was going for.
Oh, okay. Alright. Yeah.
But anyway.
Alright, so we broke into a staring contest and I beat Leanne because I do that all the time.
Yeah, but I was just so shocked that I finally found someone, who could, stare into me.
In a stare laughing straight face contest?
Yeah, stare into my soul, and mean it,
It sounds weird. I was just looking at you with a straight face so that you could laugh first.
Yeah, people don't really do that to me, but I do it all the time. And so to find someone who had like a similar humor to me, I was like...
Oh yeah, it was great.
I was like, wow, really?
Yeah. Anyways, but then she did give me her social media.
Yeah.
But nobody else did, so I was like, oh dang, I'm kind of like on the radar now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so I got her social media, and then I left and went to play drums for practice. And back then, I used to I used to go live on Instagram, and like some of my friends would watch me, and like I would interact with them and stuff, and they would just comment and stuff, normal casual Instagram stuff, right? And so I'm like, we're practicing, and I'm playing, and I look over and I see like Leanne join the thing and like add a comment, and I was like, what did Leanne say? And I looked at it, and she commented humility. Just the word humility. I remember looking at it and just saying humility. I was like, humility? What's prideful about playing drums?
Okay.
Like, what the heck?
Let me explain myself real quick.
Yeah, you better explain it.
It was 2017. The only people that ever went live was like celebrities and like, really famous people. And so when I saw you, this ex-druggie with his cornrows.
But I'm not an ex-druggie. I've never done drugs.
Dude, I really thought you were prideful. I don't know why, but...
It's because I'm worried. Cut off.
Yeah, I think... No, but I don't know. I can see how it sounds very mean, looking back. It's a little bit rude, I guess.
You're trying to humble someone who was already humble. I was definitely the most humble guy there. I'm probably the most humble guy in the world.
Yeah, you are, to be fair. No, he is actually.
Super duper humble, probably more humble than anyone who ever lived, other than Jesus.
I can see how it's kind of rude, you know, but me, my personality, I'm just the type of person that I'm very straightforward and I just say what's on my mind. And I didn't necessarily mean it like, oh bro, you're so humble or whatever, you know, I just...
Yeah, but then I asked you about it and you laughed.
Yeah, because I
was like,
thought
when
it
I
was
saw her
funny
again,
too.
I was like, hey, why did you call it humility? And you're like,
Anyway, so Thursday, super fun cookout. After the teaching, we had just like games, burgers and stuff.
it was like a cookout thing with like a bunch of like fun games for everyone, for 100 people to interact with. So
That's
like
literally
volleyball. What?
That's literally what I just said, Mama. I see Greg.
Both wearing cutoffs, by the way. She has a cutoff on and I have a cutoff on.
Greg was wearing this
It
cutoff.
was hot.
Yeah,
it was really hot that day.
Greg was wearing this cutoff, right? That his nip would constantly fall out of.
No,
you know,
it
he'd
wasn't
constantly
that
have a nip slip.
It wasn't that bad.
And so I was like, oh, perfect. I love making fun of Greg. I love just, you know, picking on him. Perfect opportunity. And I go over to him and I'm like, Greg, you're really being a stumbling block for all the girls here with your nipples.
I mean, I guess that's a compliment. You weren't like, yeah, I'm joking. She was like,
I did that.
You're being a stumbling block, and then turned around and walked away. And I was like, is she
classic.
serious? We're wearing the same thing. And I was like, what girl gets all tripped out seeing a dude's nipple fall out?
Yeah.
That's a real thing? What if
I
it's
mean,
like
I
all
don't know.
hairy?
I don't know. Some girls like that, I guess.
Yeah, okay,
I
yeah,
don't know.
I guess so.
Anyway, I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, and so I thought she was actually mad. And then I noticed she was following me around to every game I went to.
Not true. Absolutely not true.
Yeah.
I can see how you thought I was leading you on, but I wasn't. Look, I wanted to go play Foursquare, okay? I've never played it, so I saw opportunity to go play a new game.
That was actually my first time playing Foursquare.
Really?
Too. Yeah, I didn't go to good elementary school.
Actually, I think I'm lying. I think we used to play Foursquare.
That night, later on that night, Leanne and my friend Jeff and like a couple other people and Adrian, shout out Adrian, we're all hanging out on the stairs or on the steps of like the base house. I walked over and started hanging out with people, and I had my hair in a man bun.
Can we just say the miracle that happened right before that?
What?
The miracle of you having your first shower that entire week?
Oh yeah, that was because there were too many people there and I couldn't get a shower.
Really?
Anyways, because there was only like two showers. So I walked over, just started hanging out with everyone, and, you know, talking, having fun. And then Leanne's like, hey, how come you don't wear your hair up in a man bun as much? Well, why, Leanne? Why do you say that?
It really compliments your face, you know, you wearing a man bun. And I said that to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was like, okay, I see what you did there. That was
somehow.
Like under the radar. Yeah, but when you said it, like everyone stopped and was like looking at you and looking at me.
Yeah, somehow everyone thought I was flirting, which I wasn't.
I don't know.
I was giving someone of the opposite sex a compliment.
I guess you can just give people compliments
I
and
guess.
not be romantic,
I guess you
or
can.
sexual. So
But yeah, that's what I meant.
I guess that's a good point. Anyways, and then we went to cook out, and Leanne put on a really nice button-up shirt.
It was a Hawaiian shirt.
Why? I'm saying all this stuff and you're just denying everything.
Because in your head, okay, I can clearly see he's like, oh, this girl's dressing up for me. But to me, I'm
I mean, it
like,
wasn't
oh,
like
bro, I
that.
look like trash. Let me go
No.
put on a Hawaiian shirt.
It wasn't like that. It was like, wait, okay, so she's dressed normal, and then when we all decide to go get cookout, she dresses nice. But then again, I didn't know her style, and like she wears a lot of button-up shirts casually. And to me, back then, I was like, oh, you only wear a button-up shirt if you want to look nice. Or very extremely
But something
presentable.
I did notice in America is that,
People dress like trash now.
yeah, if you like,
Depends on where you are.
yes. But something I found out is that Americans don't actually dress nice to movies. Like, we dress nice when we go to the movies, to the theater, and you guys don't. You guys just wear like sweatpants and stuff.
Anyways.
Which
so,
brew I prefer.
So we went to cookout that night, and this was like one of the first times. I don't know if you remember this, But like I sat on a bench and I actually got to talk to you because you were waiting for your food and I was waiting for my food and we were like the last two people. And I actually got to talk to you for like a while. And so that was like one of the first times I got to like really talk to her, like more, it was like in a group setting, but it was like one-on-one conversation with like everyone around us. And so
Wait, what did we talk about?
it was about us. Like it was about like I talked, like you asked me questions. Like we just got to know each other like better. And I was like really like, man, like I really enjoy being around Leanne. And so like this whole week this is how I would explain it. I was falling in love with Leanne without mentally acknowledging or recognizing that I was falling in love with Leanne. You know how like when you look at a girl and you're like, oh, she's attractive, and then you have a crush on her? It wasn't like that. It was like something totally different, way more authentic, I would say. And so like when I saw Leanne, I wasn't like, honestly, like I know everyone says this, but it was true. Like I wasn't really attracted to her outer appearance. Like I wasn't like, whoa, she's super hot, like I want to date her. Like that wasn't my mindset at all. And when I saw her, I was just super infatuated with her. That's the best way I can explain it. And so like when I met her, I was super infatuated with her, and I just like wanted to talk to her, wanted to get to know her and stuff. And so like I would always like, my eyes would always land on Leanne, like wherever
I would turn around so much and you would just stare at me.
No, yeah, right. Are you serious?
Yeah.
No.
In the teachings, yeah. You would always sit behind me.
Well,
like,
I can remember one time I was in the back and I was like, I'm gonna look at Leanne. And so I was looking at her, and like right when I looked at her, you turned around, and bam, like eye contact. I was like, what the heck? Anyways, let me finish what I was saying.
Yes.
First of all right?
Yeah.
So I was just really infatuated with Leanne and like who she was, and like I could like pinpoint her voice. I know it sounds weird, but I could pinpoint her voice in like a room of like 100 people, when like everyone would start praying and stuff. Like I could just hear her voice. And I would just listen to her voice, but she also like had an accent and spoke a different language, so it was easier to pinpoint her voice. And so, but I was just super infatuated. That Friday was the last day of the conference, and so I woke up that morning, and I was like overcome with joy. And I was like, this is like the best week of my life, man. It's like I was getting super encountered by God, meeting amazing people, falling in love with this amazing girl, and then I was like overcome with sorrow because I was like, I'm never gonna see her again. Today she's gonna leave, and like she's probably just gonna go back to Orlando, finish her DPS program, and then go back to the other side of the world where she's from. I was like, the chances of us meeting is so slim.
Yeah.
It's so slim. And I was like, this is like 1 in a million chance. And at that time, I was like, man, this is like the most amazing girl I've ever met, and like the most godly girl I've ever met. And I have to tell her, like, I gotta tell her. Like, there's just something in me that I was like, I gotta tell her. And so we had teaching that morning, like worship and teaching and stuff. And then after that, I walked over to Leanne. Yeah, we had a snack. And I walked over to Leanne, and we were all like casually talking and stuff. And I was like, hey, I just want you to know. It was super authentic. I just want you to know, just marry me. Yeah. I was like, hey, like I just want you to know that like you're like the most godly woman I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I was like really blown away by it.
Dude, that was like when you said that, that was literally the best compliment that I've ever received.
Wow.
In my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah. Because at this point in my life, I was like, it's when I really started actually living for God and actually having a relationship with Him. And so I was pursuing to be a godly woman, you know, and for you to say that was just like, wow, like.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
But it was very authentic. It wasn't like flattering, you know. Flattery is like complimenting someone so that they think highly of you. It wasn't flattery. It's just like a legitimate compliment.
Yeah. I guess I should mention that I wasn't in love with Greg, and I wasn't falling in love with Greg. But I thought he was a cool guy.
Oh yeah. You're a cool guy. We could be friends, I guess.
No, I really did think that Greg was super cool, but I didn't really like him. Just because the Lord was still, dealing with things in my heart. And so...
But that week, like, I just really had an encounter with the Lord of just laying down everything in my life, like all my dreams, everything I've like worked for, to pursue like my dream, just like letting that die on the altar before the Lord. And I also laid down like marriage. I was like, you know what, Lord, this is actually what I thought. It sounds very unpractical now, but this is what I thought. This is my thought process. I was like, you know, God, like if you want me to live under a bridge in Vietnam and just tell people about Jesus for the rest of my life and be homeless, like I'll do that, you know. And if I never get married, it's okay. Like I'd rather never get married and follow your plan for my life and be with you forever, you know. And so I just totally, and the whole idea that I had, that I thought I wanted in a wife, you know, that whole concept, I just totally surrendered that to the Lord. And that was the week that I met the woman that I married.
And ironically, during that week, that conference too, because the teachings were a lot on like marriage as well, but mostly just surrendering to God. And that week was the week that I laid down, marriage as well, because I feel like as Christians, as female Christians, we very much idolize this idea of getting married, oh, if only I can get married or find my husband, And so that week I just kind of laid it down, I was like, you know what, God, I don't want this to be a priority and an idol in my life anymore, And that's the week that
we met each other.
My husband.
But
I didn't know it, of course.
Then I said bye to her, and she left, and we didn't start dating until a year after that.
Yeah, which is crazy. I hope that our story brings hope to those people that are in love with someone and they don't like you back. You know?
Yeah, I should say that. Leah didn't like me for like a really long time.
It wasn't that long.
It was a while. She didn't like me for a long time, but I was like in love with Leah. Like I've never liked a girl this much ever. So yeah.
You have to ask yourself, what is the chances of a girl who's from South Africa
and a guy who's from Savannah, Georgia?
Yeah. Meeting.
meet each other,
And then 2 years later get married. Like what are the chances?
So dudes, God has a wife handpicked for you. Believe it. And prepare yourself. Use your singleness as a season to prepare yourself to be a good gift and a godly man for your wife. Because if you're not preparing yourself or you're not letting God prepare you,
He's not going to give you.
He's not going to give you to someone if you're a trash gift, or if you have horrible character, or whatever else.
And also, this would have never happened if we weren't madly in love with God. Think about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have been there.
I wouldn't have been there. Gosh, I don't know where I would have been. So we for sure are planning on making a
how we started dating video.
Because
and all the ins and outs. Hopefully it's not too long.
Dude, our story is actually crazy. Every time I hear it, I'm just like, bro, it's so crazy. Like how we actually ended up together.
But that's how we met.
Yeah.
And so, love you guys.
Make sure that you like and subscribe.
If you liked the video, then like the video.
Because it
helps us.
Because it really helps us and supports us, and just it's motivation,
Yeah, but we
showing that you care. Let us know that you care.
Anyways, see you on the Quickly vlog.